Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Minute Fridays, where we take 5 minutes to close out our week in the Word of God. Today I want to kick us off with a question. What do you do when your kid is misbehaving? All right, how do you approach that? Or maybe if you don't have kids, I understand there's a little bit of a debate whether or not pets are kids nowadays. But let's say for your dog, when your dog doesn't listen to you, how do you handle that situation? How do you train them? How do you discipline? How do you fix an issue or correct an error or adjust a behavior so that they don't continue to go down that path? And the reason I ask that is because whether you know it or not, the little girl who usually dances at the end of these videos, that's my daughter. And she is about to turn 2 next month. We're so excited about that. But she is starting to get into really, I guess, a phase where we ask her questions and she usually would just say yes or no randomly. She didn't really know which one meant what. But now she's starting to get it. And so it's like, oh, Charlie, will you go pick this up? No. Or maybe we'll be outside or something and she'll just swing her arms around randomly and she'll hit one of us in the face. And it's like, oh, Charlie, can you say you're sorry? And she makes the sign for it, but then she says, sorry. Very sarcastically, not sure where she learned that. But in all of it, as she's doing things that we're like, oh no, you can't really be doing that. As we're trying to figure out how do we take care of this? What's our plan of attack? How do we handle this issue? A lot of times, Liz and I talk about how we don't know if that was the right call. We don't know what that's going to result in. We don't know how that's going to turn out in the end. And same is true for Captain. Last night, he, in my opinion, was being a real jerk. All right, we got home. I knew he had recently been down to go to the bathroom and stuff. Got home and I was just hanging out with Charlie while Liz got a chance to just have a break there. And as we were sitting there, Captain's just whining and whining and whining and whining and whining. And I got so frustrated with him. It's like, dude, what is up? Fine. So we went downstairs expecting him to have to go to the bathroom. He maybe went just a little bit and then he just sat there just staring at me like I was an idiot. And I was so mad at him. How do you fix that? How do you correct that? Is there even something to fix in that way? It all comes down to the whole same idea. What am I supposed to do? How do I handle this situation? How do I move forward? But we can't just leave in the question, right? We got to make a call. How do I correct an issue? How do I help my daughter be a better person? How do I help my dog be a better dog? How do I help those around me who I'm entrusted to care for to be the best that they can possibly be? We're forced with questions that we have to answer, and then we answer them, we make choices, we make decisions. But do you know with certainty how it's going to turn out? No. You hope for the best, All right, hopefully, a spanking is the right option. Hopefully, being really kind and understanding and not yelling is the right option. Hopefully, grounding them forever is the right option. Hopefully, a quick little swat on the behind is the right option. Well, whatever it is, how do I know it actually is doing what it's supposed to be doing? We as humans, we don't. You can read book after book after book, but every child's different. You can go to class after class after class, but every animal is different. We simply don't know. There's that bit of uncertainty in what's going on. But what I want to share with you today is that although we may be uncertain on whether our plans, our hopes, our strategies are going to work, God's plan not only has worked, is working, and is perfect. And he had it since the very beginning. He didn't have lessons to learn. He didn't have things he had to figure out. He knew from the start that when sin entered the world, here's how I'm going to handle it. If you've been following our series on Sunday, What's the Big Idea? John Durkin's been walking us through just the book of Genesis, and that's where I want to take you today, because Genesis is all about God giving us this perfect earth, this perfect garden to live in, with one rule. And the one rule we were given is the one that man broke. But as soon as man broke that rule, as soon as man was confronted with his sin, God gave us the promise. Genesis 3:15. Take a look. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. From the moment an issue occurred, from a moment a corrective action was needed, God acted. God gave us this promise that one day Jesus would come, one day Jesus would live among us, one day Jesus would die, and because of that, all would be forgiven, all would be taken care of. And our faith in him assures us of that promise, of that certainty, of that eternity with him. And so even though we may not know how to correctly deal with junk and discipline and issues in our lives, God knows exactly what he's doing. And so if you're a parent out there, I want you to know what you are doing, it may not always seem right, but God has got your back. So let him lead you. Reach out to those around you. Get help where you need help. And know with certainty that even if we don't know what we're doing, God does. And he saved us through the work of his Son.